Okay, after a glorious 19-year career that started as a young boy who played in Sikandrabad earlier, moved to Delhi and then played local level football to the Indian team, to even playing on foreign shores, he's finally, hung up his boots. The highest goal scorer ever for India with 94 goals. Joining us is Sunil Chhetri. Sunil, thank you so much for speaking to India today. And the first question that I want to really ask you is that it's been a week since you've retired. I want to know, what did you have for lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner, lunch, dinner after a boring life of 19 years? Did the cuisine change or not?
Yeah, some of the meals were more for the taste and not for the health. I would not want to disclose what I ate, but yeah, more than that, a lot of time with the family, with my kid, wife, mom and dad are here, more relaxed, just staying occupied, not thinking about what has happened, having those cheat meals. Everything is going fine right now.
Okay. How has life changed? Because I'm sure you had a regimented routine and you've spoken about it. Wake up at a certain time, you need to have your training. Even though there are no matches, you know what you have to follow. It's not like that. Do you feel awkward sometimes? You wake up at 6 and what do I have to do? I don't have to do the gym work. I don't have to do
That,
the groundwork.
no, that will not change because I'm going to still play for Bangalore FC for at least a year,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
starts July 7th, the preseason. But yes, I did take liberties. There were no alarm clocks. I woke up at 8, had breakfast, slept again. Uh, so yeah, but I just hope even after retiring completely from football, which I don't know when it's going to be, I hope I can maintain a majority bit of what I've done. Staying healthy doesn't hurt. Eating right food doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But yes, I definitely look forward to all those cheat meals. I definitely look forward to not sleeping on time. I definitely look forward to being a little bit late. Yeah.
I interviewed Igor Stimac, I think a few months ago, and one very interesting thing he mentioned about you. He said, he may have a biological age, Sunil may have a biological age of 39, but physically he's 29. Could you tell our viewers what really went into ensuring that there is a gap between your physical age and your biological age?
I think the first thing is I love what I do. I'm one of the
Mm,
few blessed in the world who does something he completely loves for a living.
mm,
Second, the fact that I am who I am. I live a completely privileged life. I'm so pampered. My only work is to go and play. Sometimes my wife compares my life to Dhruv, my son, because the only thing we both do is eat, play, and
and
sleep.
sleep.
That's what I've done last 19, 20, 21
Uh,
years. Also, taking care of what I eat has been paramount. I think we, especially in India, do not give importance to the power that food has. I eat a lot of what I need and very less of what I want. And
uh,
that segregation came with a lot of hard work and a lot of seeing around the world. I sleep on time. I have a lot of gratitude as what I've got. So the least that I can do is give back my best to the sport. That's what I've done. That hasn't meant that I've won always, but that has definitely meant that I sleep peacefully at night. That I've given my best, and that's the reason why I said I hope I don't change much. I hope I still stay regimental. I hope that I can still keep the discipline.
mm,
So because it has given me a lot of dividend. It's not only, to be honest, it's not only on the pitch, but
mm,
it also makes you a better person. I genuinely, I think, feel it. I can't say I know it. I'm not a doctor. But when you eat well, when you know what you're doing, when you're pre-planned of what's going to happen tomorrow, you kind of become a better person because the margins of doing चलना यार कुछ भी करते हैं चलना ये खा लेते हैं चलना कभी भी सो लेते हैं that goes when that goes I think more than often you're doing the right things because you already pre-planned it so I
yeah,
hope it.
In fact, I remember you very disciplined. I don't know if you recall, but my first memory of Sunil Chhetri is a camp that happened in Phagwara. That is a national camp. Sukhwinder Singh was the coach, and I'd come to cover. I stayed 2 days in the camp. And my memory is of a Brazil Argentina game that was to start at 6 a.m. in the morning. And players got up to sit in a TV room to watch that thing. And I came in the morning to even film that. That's my earliest memory. And not everyone got up because it was an early start, 6 a.m. start, Brazil, Argentina. And at that time, I could see that, this is a disciplined guy who's come in because he loves football. So he's woken up early morning to watch that. From that boy that I remember in Fagwara to today, uh, do you think that you have changed? Did you ever imagine in your wildest dream that's Sunil Chhetri who's not made his debut to having played 19 years? Did you even imagine in your wildest dream that's how your career will pan out?
No, no, that's why, hence the gratitude and giving my best, because there are few people who have seen me that time. Kudos to you, man. You remember those days.
Yeah, yeah,
I, I mean, even if I take you back 4 years from when you saw me when I was a young kid, even if somebody told me that you can write whatever you want and you will get it, I couldn't have written what I've actually got. So from that boy that you saw who hadn't played for the country yet to playing 150 games, who forget about India, I'm the only one, but around the world, very few play 150 games for their country. It's an absolute honor and amazing feat. Of course, I wouldn't have done it without the help of so many, but I couldn't have written it, and I have a lot of gratitude. All these days when after I announced my retirement, I had time to think about and reflect. I've lived a blessed life. Not many people in the world get to live the way I've lived. So much of love, so much of attention, so much of adulation, so much of liberties. It's amazing. And the least that I can do is be disciplined. The least that I can do is turn up and give my best.
Yeah, you have certainly for those 19 years. Now, one thing I always wanted to ask you that whenever anybody talks about Sunil Chhetri, whenever there's a profile made or an interview starts, as I did today, mention those 94 goals, the highest or the third highest in active players. We journalists often use this stat data. I often wonder, how do you see it? Do you find it confidence boosting sometime, or do you find it amusing? How do you see this particular stat? Um, there's Ronaldo, there's Messi, there's Sunil Chhetri.
So whenever a footballing person is talking about it, I am absolutely thrilled. I take a lot of pride because I know a footballing person understand what the comparison is. The comparison is purely on the basis of what we have done for our countries. And I will compete, and I did compete against anyone in the world. When it comes to doing my best for the country, I've done it. If given a chance, I'll do it again. But when it goes to a realm of people trying to compare the kind of players we are, that's where it's amusing, and I laugh, and I think it is ridiculous because there is no comparison whatsoever between me, Messi, and Ronaldo. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of players like me who are huge fans of both Messi and Ronaldo. So only at that moment when, if I may say so, the new footballing fans who do not probably have much knowledge, and if they are cracking about it or just talking about it, I find it amusing because all the footballing people, they understand this. There is no comparison. But yes, I would compete. I did, and I will against anyone when it comes to giving my best to the country is concerned.
Okay, you're talking about people who follow football. So, the day you announced your retirement, we did a podcast with a few football journalists who've been following football for a long time. And the one question that came across was, is Sunil the greatest footballer to play for India? And everyone had a different opinion. And I'd pick Sunil as the greatest ever, having seen many other footballers before you, in a Baichung and an I am Vijayan, in a Mahesh Kawli, all of that. And I had my reasons. So I'm not going to dwell into those reasons. But do you ever think about that the legacy you're leaving behind, people talking about greatest ever to play for India?
No, because it's not true. Because
Okay.
I'm not trying to be humble. Okay, let me say this. Forget me. Let's suppose we're talking about an I am Vijayan and PK Banerjee, for example. Okay, you can't compare because the eras were different, the circumstances were different, what they did was different, who they did against was different. It's difficult to compare. I'm keeping myself away from a vantage point.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. I would never compare myself with anyone because I have so much respect for them. Now, what my legacy should be, and I hope it is, I worked tremendously hard. And I just hope every player now in the dressing room, I know they know it, and they try to emulate it, and they get inspired by me. I just hope whoever talks about me in terms of legacy, they do understand that you really got to work hard, especially when you get a chance to play for a country. It's not a joke. You have the power to make 1.5 billion people happy. Do not take it for granted. The least you can do is just go out and give whatever you have. Do not take an inch of complacency. Just go out and then just give your best. And I think that should be my legacy. I hope that is my legacy, that here there was someone who really worked hard.
Okay, let me ask you, put you in a spot. Of course, you have to keep yourself out of this debate and not going back into footballers that you never saw, but from the ones that you saw, who do you think was the greatest according to you?
Oh.
Okay, should I make it easier for you? Should I reverse the question, or you want to answer that? Or I can even make it slightly easier. Huh.
I will try. Uh,
Uh-huh.
I have watched very less of I'm Bhai, and I loved what I saw. But because you're talking about the best in the country, and I'm keeping myself aside, I would say Baichung Bhai. There are many that come in my head, but the sheer determination and the hunger that I saw in that person was unmatched. And again, I must say I have seen much more of Bai Chumbai. I've played with him for
Hmm.
6 years for the national team, so I might be biased. I mean, one more name comes to my head. A lot of people don't understand that is JJ. He did really
Yeah.
well for the country at his prime, but it was short-lived. But yeah, I think if I have to name one guy, and there are so many who are going to get annoyed, but yes, Bai Chumbai had that impact on me, and yeah.
No, I don't think anybody will get annoyed. I mean, that's the goodwill that Baichung Bhutia has, that everyone loves him so much. If you were to take that name, I don't think anyone will ever be annoyed. Okay, I wanted to know, ever since you retired, I'm sure you got loads of messages and, congratulatory messages and people looking back at your career. Who was the biggest name from the world of football, or the sweetest message that you got after you announced your retirement?
See, and as far as big names are concerned, there are many. I mean,
Uh,
getting a message from Modric was huge. Getting a message from the FIFA boss was good.
wow.
Virat messaging was huge. But I'm throwing names because people like
Yeah.
hearing names. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like to hear it.
yeah, one of the sweetest messages that really made me choke was I don't know the guy's name, and he made a video as to why I shouldn't retire. And he started his journey with me. He started watching football with me. I'm so sorry I forgot his name. And 3 days he made me cry in the bathroom because it just choked me. He talked about how he has grown with my career. He talked about ups and downs. He talked about growing up in football with me, and it was unbelievable. Then at those times you realize what a what a beautiful life you had. Because I'll tell you something. When you go to the
Yeah,
airports, when you go outside, when people talk about when they want autographs, photographs, after some time you get used to it. It's just like routine. Okay, you have to go there, you give as much autographs as possible, you move on, you don't think about it. But after a
yeah,
time, the kind of fan mail and messages I got, they were overwhelming. It was unbelievable the kind of love that, and that's why I said that there aren't many sports people in the world, sorry, in my country, who have got more love. I'm so fortunate. And
yeah.
those videos really made me choked before six because they were unbelievably good, and I just wish them all the very best in whatever they're doing in their life.
Okay, I'm going to mine social media and take out some of those messages. I'm sure they will be there after I'm done with the interview.
I
I
will
know.
text I will
Yeah.
I will text you through Kunal the guy's
Okay.
name. Oh, that video is
Yes.
nice.
Okay. Okay. We're going to put that out. I know I do not have too much time with you, but I have the last three questions to go for you. One, I want to know. And I remember covering it very closely. It was the time that the QPR, call came, and it wasn't because of you. It was where India were ranked in the FIFA ranking at that time. You could not make that switch. Do you think life would have turned out differently at that time? You'd been eligible. So, had India been in that situation within the FIFA ranking and you could get a work permit, things would have been different in your career.
See, at that time, I thought like that. I had the
Hmm.
regret for a short period of time, but I moved
Hmm.
on.
Hmm.
It didn't bother me. I didn't think about what would have happened. But I can tell you one thing that always stays with me is I was 26 when I went to Sporting Lisbon. I had a
Yeah.
4 year long deal, but in 1 year I came back because I didn't get enough chances. I wouldn't say regret. It's a very big word because I have an amazing life. But I wish I had gone to Sporting when I was 16. I wish I had those 4 years to burn. I wish because when 26 I was at Sporting B, it was itching me that I wasn't playing every week. I only played 5 games at two coming from the bench. It wasn't enough for my morale, and I made the switch back to India. If I had gone to Sporting Lisbon when I was 16, playing with Sporting B, the likes of Eric Dyer, Bruma, and all those superstars, I would have stayed there for 4 years. And then I don't know what would have happened. Still, probably the life that I've got is outstanding. And I don't
Hmm.
want to use the word regret, but yeah, sometimes I think that I wish I was 16 when I went to Sporting.
Okay, I mean, my own analysis, and let me know. At that time, you go to Sporting Lisbon. If you were 16 and you were playing in the B team, see, many people say this. Sometimes people who've played at that level say that sometimes playing in B team can be tougher than playing in the A team because they are rougher, more physical at
It
that
is.
point. Had you just gone there at 16, maybe by that time transition when you were 24, 25, 26 into the A team, it could have been different. Is that why you say you should have
Yes.
gone there younger?
Yes. Forget about the A team of sporting only.
Mm. Mm.
But getting that kind of a level and that kind of an education and that kind of a surrounding and that kind of an atmosphere is a different ball game altogether. So when I was 16, I was in Delhi. When I was 17, I went to Mohun Bagan, which is the biggest club in India then. And 17, 18, 19, 20, I was in Mohun Bagan, which was a great jump for me. I wasn't the best in India. But then if I
Yeah.
was 16, I was going to Sporting. I'm talking about best in Europe. The level is way higher. You know, at 16, a Figo goes to Sporting. At 16, a Ronaldo goes to Sporting. At 16, a Charisma goes to Sporting. And Eric Dyer, as I said, my room partner then, was there at Sporting. So I think the things would have been different. But again, it's not a regret. It's just that I wish I was there. And if any kid who wants to go to abroad and hone his skills at that level, I hope he goes or she goes at a young age. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to make that jump from an Indian level to a Sporting Lisbon. So that's the only wish that I had.
Would you want, Indian footballers who go abroad, and not a lot have gone? Sometimes you get a feeling that the comforts of being in India, because you get paid more here rather than playing B division, C division abroad, it's tough for life. You have to drive yourself to the ground. You have to do your laundry. You have to search for your own food, cook, and it's much comfortable here. Do you think that's a problem? If there was a youngster who came to you who's playing abroad, these tougher times, what advice would you give him? That spend those tough months there, do the hard work rather than getting an easier life, more money playing for a club in India. Could there be a solution there that you can think or advise a youngster who's thinking on those terms?
Oh, that's a great technical question that you've
Hmm.
asked. You know what
Yeah.
happens is, let's
Hmm.
say if the boys who are doing well in our country, we are aiming Asia. It is so difficult because all the Asian teams look for the foreign quota to Brazil and Argentina and the European nations. Okay, so that's difficult. Now, if you want to make a move to European nations, you got to go to the B and the C divisions. Now, if you are 2021 already, and let's suppose you are a Suresh Wangjam or Udanta or a Anwar, you're making a lot of money here. It becomes very difficult.
Correct.
That is why the age group, that is why being 15, 16 helps. If you are that good at 15, 16, and you can see that, and you have a right team around you who can see and sense that, then you go, because at 16, you don't have crores. You're not seeing at
Yeah.
multi-year deals. You just want to play. So you take somebody with you, a guardian, you have the right team, and you will do the laundries. You will polish the boots of your seniors. You will do all the stuff that we did when we were younger. But now it's so difficult because a lot of youngsters in our country are making, and it's not their mistake. It's not their fault. They can go to an Asian clubs, but the Asians will always choose the Brazilians because you can understand that. You only have 4 foreign
Yeah.
quotas. And when you go to Europe, there is no chance an ISL player will go and start in Premier League. Not yet. So you have to go to a B division, C division. You will not go if you're already 23 and an established name.
Yeah, yeah. I hope all the youngsters are listening. I always, hope for Indian youngsters to go fight it out in those tougher leagues, because you see that with a lot of other Asian teams, because they don't have a big league like Afghanistan and all
Yes,
of those
yes,
countries. They
yes,
have to struggle and play B,
yes,
C
yes,
division.
yes.
And you do see a difference. I know no time left with you. My final question, Sunil, and that is, I always wonder, and I thought I'll ask you at the end of your career, that, while we enjoyed your center of gravity, your vision, your weight of the pass, all of that, everyone could see. The one facet of your game that really fascinated me, 5'7", as tall as I am, how did that heading ability come? That hang in the air? Because I would see you up against 6'2" defenders, and yet when there's a header, there's a Sunil Chhetri taking that header. Where did that come from?
I'll tell you an honest answer.
Yeah.
It's not the leg power. It's not the jump. It just, I am willing to hit the ball. I want to hit the ball. And trust me, it is, I always tell the kids, because there's so many kids who have a great jump, so many kids who are tall, but they can't because you don't want to. You have to want to, because an elbow is coming. An elbow is coming to your face. So you have to want to. If you don't want to, you will never. To go for a header is one of the most difficult tasks in football because you can see an elbow. And seeing an elbow is not easy. A 6'3" Murtada Fall or Sandesh Jingan or a John Johnson comes with an elbow. It is not easy. So I think I wanted to hit the ball. I want to hit the ball. And that probably is the most important thing if you want to win headers.
Okay, Sunil, thank you so much for your time and those insights. Here's wishing you very best for the 1 year that you're going to play football and all the very best for the future as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and all the best to you of watching Indian team there in USA. Come back with
Yeah,
the trophy.
we'll try and do that. Thanks so much.
Take
Thanks so
care.
much,
Bye
Sunil.
bye.
Bye. Bye.